All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room, guys. Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, August the 22nd. Wow, already. 2023. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm like waiting on a food delivery.
You're going to say waiting on a friend. Like,
No, that's
I'm not waiting on a lady.
And you and I have both seen the stoop where that is recorded.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The stoop is also, and that stoop is also on an album cover.
That would be Physical Graffiti.
Physical Graffiti. And there's a
stoop on the left.
It's the stoop on the left. Yeah, on the downstairs business on the stoop on the right, there's a tea shop called Physical Graffiti. So
that's cute. That's
it's almost as if I came up with the name of that.
You're not.
I'm corny, but not that corny.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's a tough call right there.
That's true.
One thing I want to do. Well, let's do that. Well, you see the shirt I'm wearing.
I do see the shirt you're wearing.
Okay, so I got that. I actually didn't get that at Guinness because the line was so damn long.
So you just got it at the Guinness gift shop down the block from Guinness?
Airport.
Oh, the airport. Well, that works. Yeah, there you
go.
I meant to say this a couple weeks ago because we took last week off for our vacation week. But I meant to say this a couple weeks ago. You were coming live from Killarney.
Yep.
Killarney. I just thought it was funny because you were doing the show from Killarney when many a time when you lived in Kearney, you did the show from Kearney.
I did do the show from Kearney.
Kearney and Killarney.
I'm missing your point.
Never mind.
That's you took.
It's a bad joke. That's why I was.
Yeah, you took the ill out of it.
I took
which is ironic since I'm sick. But hey, the show must go on, right?
The show must go on. The beer must get drank, and we need to congratulate our winner of the contest.
Oh, that's right. We have the contest. How many Guinnesses will the beer semi drink whilst in Ireland?
Mm-hmm. Well, what is the number? What was the number? I should say.
26.
26 Guinnesses. 26 Guinnesses. One person had it spot on.
Yeah, you.
But it was me. So
I was 2 off. I guessed 24.
You did guess 24. Our closest, without going over, was 23. So congratulations to Mike Goodhart from Bergen County, New Jersey.
Hey, Mike, and what does Mike win?
Mike wins a Coastal Brewworks t-shirt, a Coastal Brewworks pint glass, and Coastal Brewworks stickers, and some other nice swag. So from our sponsor, Coastal Brewworks. There you go.
Yes, I've heard of them.
I've heard of them too.
I've got a glass and a shirt somewhere.
Somewhere I got a hat and a shirt and a work shirt too. I'm not sure where it is right now.
Yeah, I don't know what. You might be wearing them.
I might be wearing them right now.
For those of you who are not watching the video, John, one of the owners of Coastal Brewworks, is wearing all that paraphernalia he just mentioned.
Because what was that? Oh, worked today. Yeah, there you go.
But those 26, I think it was 19 different venues.
26 at 19 different venues, and the 7 that you had, most of them were at one venue, correct?
Yeah, 5. Where they were doubled up. 5 of them were at Guinness itself.
At Guinness itself.
Oddly enough, not the best pour that I had. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I thought I heard a knock. Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But actually, the best pour was actually in Killarney at Teddy O'Connor's.
Teddy O'Connor's.
Yeah, had a couple there. Had a couple at Jimmy O'Brien's, also in Killarney.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Very nice.
Only a few places that I had to. Because you got to remember, their legal driving limit is 0.05, not 0.1 like it is here.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So. I think it's 0.08 here now. It's not 0.1.
Oh, did they lower it?
Yeah, it's 0.0. It's been for a little while. It's been 0.08. So,
okay. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Hold on.
I'm going to hold on. I'm going to just talk by myself. I will talk to you. So, Dave right now is he's getting food. Look at that. He had food delivered straight to him. It's very nice, right?
Okay. You know I can't hear you, right?
I don't have. No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to our. I was talking to our listener. So.
So the delivery came just in time.
Right.
5 hours. I ordered this 5 hours ago.
5 hours ago. Good thing you ordered. Imagine if you ordered it 4 hours ago.
Jeez.
Or 3. We'd be done with the show by the time you actually got it.
Yeah, right.
So what is it? Why don't you tell us all what it is?
These are Chinese bao.
And why did you order them today?
Because it is National Bao Day.
Happy National Bao Day, everybody.
And it's from Wow Bao. I ordered these
Bao. Wow.
2 hours ago with DoorDash. Oddly enough, they're cold.
Well, because they were sitting in the guy from DoorDash's car for the last 2 hours. That's why.
No, they actually weren't. He only picked them up about 20 minutes ago.
Well, 6 of 1. All right. Anything else today? It's also national. It's also World Folklore Day.
You know, when you talk about Ireland, I got into the folklore of Ireland with the Tuatha Day, which are like the gods of there.
Right.
You've got the Dagda, you've got Mu, you've got who else? Manannan. Apparently, the Isle of Man is named after, or the other way around. He's named after the Isle of Man.
Right.
Morrigan, Bridget. Bridget was then sainted, and they turned her into a saint.
Right.
But that you've seen the St. Bridget's crosses. We sell them all over the place.
Sure.
But we went to the Hill of Tara. In the Hill of Tara, they got the Stone of Destiny, and the Stone of Destiny wails when the true King of Ireland touches it. Did
you touch it?
I did.
Did it well?
Am I here?
I guess so.
No, it didn't.
It didn't. I got it. So now that's the Wood of Destiny. What is that? The Stone of Destiny. The Stone of Destiny. Now, what's the Pick of Destiny in Ireland?
The Pick of Destiny?
Yeah.
All right.
It's a Tenacious D reference.
No, but the Stone of Destiny is very, 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 very phallic. I'll tell you that.
Is this thing on? That went over like 11. All right.
That was the.
All right.
But see what I did there, Tenacious D, very felt.
I see that. That was pretty good, actually. Quick on your feet. Very good. Nobody's ever accused you of not being quick on your feet. That's for sure. So.
Except for during a race.
Except for well, of course. So anyway, all right.
Little old and tubby.
There you go. All right. While you're eating that, we've had our guest waiting for about 8 minutes. Right. I'm just saying. So, do we want to pour our first beer? We'll say what they are afterwards, and then we'll do our.
Yeah, we're gonna. We usually don't do this. We usually wait to bring the guest on before we pour our first beer. But we're gonna pour our first beer.
We're gonna make an exception tonight.
We got a little business to take care of. Those who have drank with me in New Jersey know of someone named who I call the senpai. He always called me sensei because I brought him into the craft beer world. And he really knew his stuff after a while. And this would be Leon J. Cooper. Leon Cooper passed this weekend. So we just wanted to honor his memory. Cheers, Leon. Godspeed. Don't drink all the beer up there before I get there, please.
Save some for you.
Yeah, save some.
That's true.
Cheers, buddy.
All right.
Oh, damn, that's good.
Yeah, that was good.
Good beer. Well, let's bring the guest on now.
Well, let's bring the guest on.
Now that we brought the room down.
Let's bring the guest on. And he's just back in time, so that's good. I will take my obligatory picture really quickly right here. There we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we posted it. If you read the post, or if you read anything, if you're listening, obviously, if you read the description, obviously everybody knows that, from time to time, well, quite often actually, Dave and I travel around, for beer in a lot of different places, plan vacations around breweries as many of you do. But we'll meet people at these breweries and out and about, and strike up conversations with them, and kind of get to know them, quicker than you would think,
Well, it's amazing because you can be in a bar and you could be about 4 or 5 beers in, the person sitting next to you also such, and you start talking, and it's like instant best friend on loan.
Right.
Yep.
Pretty much. So we thought and this is the inaugural one of these. We thought to, from time to time, bring on one of these type of people that actually, more so than a chance meeting, not that any of them are not chance meetings, but more so than like, hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Goodbye. More so than, more of a conversation, and you get to know them for a little bit. Bring them on the show and see what they have to talk about. So tonight, please welcome to the show, Mr. Mike Feagans. We call him Mike from Indy. It's not at International Belgian Friday. No, I clicked that by mistake. There he is, Mike Feagans. Mike from Indy. Mike, how are you?
Hey, I am doing great. How are you guys tonight?
We're pretty good. Yourself?
Good. I'm doing fantastic. Getting ready for some hot weather in the next few days. So.
Oh yeah.
How
is Indiana right now?
It is very, very hot and dry, but the beer is very cold. So it's a beautiful place to be right now.
That's great. That's awesome. What are you drinking? We'll start with you. What are you?
I am starting off with my Metazoa Bark Fest.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got the Stein and beer on Saturday night, and that would be a nice way to break out my new Stein and mug for tonight. And
awesome.
This is one of my favorite breweries in Indianapolis. It's the Metazoa.
Metazoa?
Yeah. So 5% of their profits go to the save animals.
Very nice.
That is awesome.
5% of profits from that beer, or from everything?
From every beer, yeah. A lot of their beers have like names. Like my favorite one from them is called the Trash Panda. It has a little panda on the beer, and then they have Peanut Butter Slumber Party. I mean, just a lot of different names with animals with it, and a nice wide variety of them. But very good place.
Very nice.
That's awesome.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
So that's good. Samurai, what are you drinking here?
Well, as we've mentioned quite a few times already, I was in Ireland. And before I went...
You were?
Yeah, I was in Ireland. And before I went, I reached out to a couple podcasters out there.
Uh-huh.
And one of them, this guy, Brian, he runs the crack beer community. Now, when I say crack, it's C-R-A-I-C. It's an Irish word that means fun, not C-R-A-C-K, which is an American word for
many things.
Fun. But he is, a podcaster like Johnny, and like Johnny, he's also starting up his own brewery called Sesh Beers. And this is what. Now, the interesting thing about this particular one is he told me about it. He was doing a tap takeover in Dublin. And we were going through Limerick. We went to a brewery called Crew Brewing. And I looked down in the cooler and I see this. I'm like, that's Brian's beer. And the beer tender, knowing I was from the U.S., like, and how do you know Brian? Funny thing. So we talked about his beer for a little bit. So I bought a couple cans, drank one when I got home to the Airbnb, and this is the second one right here. But it's, when I reached out to him and told him that I found his beer, he's like, you managed to stumble into the one place in all of Southern Ireland that carries it at this moment. So very, very fortuitous. So I'm glad to have it.
It's very, very fortuitous of him to realize that the word he used to describe your meandering into that was stumble.
Yeah, stumble. No, I hadn't been drinking yet. Or had I?
I thought I heard the word stumbled in too.
You did.
Yeah.
But this is, and as you can tell, I poured it to one of my glasses, one of my favorite sesh beers.
So this is Sesh IPA. It's a 3.8% session IPA from Sesh Beers. Now, let me ask you a question. Sesh Beers, is he going to be doing any big barrel aged stouts?
No, everything will definitely be under 5%. This is only 3.8.
3.8, yeah.
And this is very flavorful. A lot of grapefruit to it. It's really, it's quite yummy.
There you go.
He's done a great job with this.
There you go.
It
awesome.
survived the flight.
Very good. Well, cheers to that. My first beer is actually it's a Kolsch called Crisp from Grist House. Many of you,
I've heard
one of my favorite breweries out in Pittsburgh. And this is a fantastic. I brought a 4-pack of this. This is a fantastic Kolsch, and this is my last one of them. I wish I had more.
May have to make a run.
This is going to be gone faster than you drink a boat. Let's put it that way. That's how good this is right now. So
probably not as fast as I drink a Guinness, though.
No, that's different. That's why
you don't drink a Guinness as fast in Ireland.
No.
You got to savor it while you're there. It's different. It really truly is different.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Let's now that we've gotten that housekeeping out of the way, Mike, let's kick this off with our first question. We ask everybody, of course. What, to the best of your knowledge, what's the first craft beer you ever had?
Ooh, wow, that is a great question. The first craft beer.
What might that be? What might that have been, I should say?
It could be crafty.
It can be craft-ish too. It doesn't like, you know, David and I's, our beer is the same. Our first beer is the same, and that's Sam Adams Boston Lager.
Okay. So when I first started drinking beer, I grew up, and my father was a big PBR kind of guy.
Love it.
So I started drinking a lot of Coors Light, Miller Lite, and then I started switching to the crafts. And so my first one, I'm thinking, was probably Samuel Adams too. I think it was in Oktoberfest that kind of started the. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Sam Adams beers, actually. Well, of the regularly produced ones,
right? Yeah, of the core beers, flagship beers, or seasonals, if you will. Oktoberfest is definitely my favorite. Boston Lager, obviously, of those is my second favorite. Honestly, the Winter Ale is probably my third. I don't, however, I don't know if you've had it yet, Mike. They actually changed the recipe for Boston Lager.
Oh,
they made it brighter, they say, right?
I haven't had it yet.
I mean, it's not bad. But I liked the other one better.
Yeah.
They're trying to appeal to, I guess, an audience that doesn't like. I mean, it was a little heavier of a lager, right? Which was, it wasn't heavy by any means, but a little heavier.
They're pandering to the crispy boys.
Apparently, I mean,
but we are guilty of.
We are guilty of that. But I still like that. I still like the other lager. Do both. It's like the new Coke, right? Back in the 80s. That lasted 6 months, and they're like, we screwed up. Then let's release Coke Classic, and then they just got rid of New Coke, and Coke Classic was all there was, right? So they got to do that. They got to go back to Boston Lager Classic, and who knows? Maybe that's what Jim Cook has in mind, right? He's going to have everybody long for it, and then let's re-release it. Now they have two beers out, two different SKUs, and see where they go.
There you go.
But who knows?
Yeah. I really like is it Back Porch? The summer beer?
Front Porch.
Back Porch.
It's Front Porch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Porch Rocker.
Porch Rocker.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, that's one of my. I really like that as a summer beer. Kind of it's almost like a summer shandy, but better.
Yeah, that's good. Porch Rocker's pretty good. But yeah, a lot of their one-off beers, a lot of their not even one-offs, a lot of their smaller batch beers that they brew are so good. They're really, really good.
Their pumpkin one. Didn't they just introduce a pumpkin one last year or the last couple of years?
They've gone back and forth with a couple of different pumpkins. They used to have Fat Jack for a while.
Fat Jack was probably the best pumpkin they did.
Yeah, Fat Jack was probably the best one they did. But the regular pumpkin ale is good. I think it was Jacktober.
Yes, I love that one. Yeah,
maybe something like that. I could be thinking wrong. I'm sorry, but
Fat Jack was out at the same time as Cinderbach.
Yeah, Cinderbach.
That was my favorite one-off they ever did.
Yeah, anybody has Cinderbach and you're near me, let me know. A trade may be in order.
That thing was amazing.
See, I don't think I've ever had that one.
Yeah,
it was a smoked Bach.
Ooh, that would be good.
So good, so good.
So, can I tell an embarrassing story since you brought up Guinness?
Please do. Please do.
Okay, so this is so embarrassing. You guys might kick me off. I could be the shortest guest ever on because I'm telling.
There's no way.
No.
It's a real high.
We don't know. It's a high bar. But
okay. Well, I got
one.
When you hear this story, you might kick me off. So, back in the day, I was coaching basketball, and I used to go to Scotland to work at basketball camp. Well, my son would come with me, or my daughter went a couple times, and we had a layover in Dublin, Ireland. I was like, we have about 8 hours. Hey, let's take a bus to downtown and we'll go there. But we're sitting in the airport, and I'm like, man, I need a beer. So this was before my craft beer, and this is making me want to go back to Ireland. I had a choice between a Guinness and a Budweiser, and I chose the Budweiser. And I left, and I've never heard the end of it from all my friends. Like, you were in Ireland and you didn't drink a Guinness? And I'm like, yes. So my
Okay.
I have to go back
That's
for
That's
that.
it, John. Kick him off the show.
Yeah, I figured. Once I told that story, I thought I'm out.
All right. Yep. They're done.
No, but it's before you got into craft, and it's before you knew any better, Mike.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. There you go.
So we'll give
I
you
was
that.
young and stupid. How about that?
You were, yeah. Well, you know what? We've all been there, right?
Yes.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm planning a trip to go back to Ireland so I can experience the Guinness in Ireland.
There you go. You're gonna have to do
And
that.
if you go to the Guinness warehouse, yes, it is very much a
We're losing. We're losing Dave there.
Yes.
tour spot. It is a little on the campy side, but it is. Oh, am I back?
You're back. You're
I
back.
froze,
You're
didn't
back.
I?
You're freezing again now.
Okay,
Now
but
you're, no, now you're right. You're catching up now.
And we're back.
See, that story was so bad he froze.
Exactly.
You took my Wi-Fi down with that story. No, but it's really worth going there. And if you do, get the tour where they teach you how to pour it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's interesting. And I'd watch guys pour at all the different places. And one thing that I saw one of them do is after they'd taken the beer right to the top, because you pour it right to the top. Right. That's why you'll never get a good pour out of a can, because you can't get it right to the top. The other thing you can't do that they did, all the good pours, they'd take it and they'd catch every single drip. They'd touch the head to the drip. And they would create like this surface tension, which would then get that beautiful mound on top of that. There we go. Almost spilled my beer.
That's alcohol abuse.
I caught it.
There you go.
And you get that beautiful mound on the head there. And it's weird. It shouldn't make that much of a difference, but it certainly does.
There you go. We have a question in here from Mark McAteer. Writes in, speaking of Sam Adams, were you guys fans of the cranberry seasonal they had back in the day? Yes, actually, it was a tasty beer they did.
It was tasty. I just didn't like the mouthfeel of it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The taste was great.
Yeah, the flavor was pretty. I mean, look, most of the stuff Sam Adams does is it's dialed in. It's just a matter of whether you're a fan of that style or not, right? It's.
But if you go to their tap room down near Faneuil Hall, all their experimental beer,
right?
There's misses.
Yeah.
There's a lot of misses.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about their more of the production stuff. Some of the stuff that they doing in those small batches in the tap room down by Faneuil Hall down there in
Quincy Market.
Down by Quincy Market. There's a few misses here and there. Nothing's a drain pour that I've had there. I've had a couple of misses, but nothing that I couldn't finish, right? But in any event, the stuff anything that I've had out of, at least out of the brewery in Jamaica Plain, right?
Yeah.
Is just been fantastic. I mean, look, hey, whatchamacallit comes Utopias comes out of Jamaica Plain, so I mean. I had Mike. Some people that long-time listeners have heard the story a couple times. I've had a 15 point something percent Scotch ale aged in 18-year Macallan barrels.
Wow.
From the brewery in Jamaica Plain. It was it's one of those beers where, like, when you finish the glass, you want to break the glass open and lick the inside of the glass because
It's that good.
Yeah, pretty much.
I still need to get there.
So, Mark, if you're still listening, what other Sam Adams beers are you fans of? Write us in when you.
What show was it when we did our top 3 Sam Adams beers?
Oh, we did that. Who did we do that with? Did we do that with John? Did we do that with Brew Guru?
I think we did.
I think that was a Brew Guru show.
I can find it.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, all right, Mike. Another question. What was the first craft brewery you ever visited? That you got to remember.
First craft brewery.
I mean, and you could say the first brewery too. But what was the first craft brewery you ever visited?
I'm thinking it was
both, if you want.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was Upland in Bloomington. That's one that's kind of, I'm thinking might have been my first one.
Upland in Bloomington. That's cool.
Yeah.
Had you been to any other breweries before that weren't necessarily craft breweries, or?
I'm kind of trying to think, like, when this all started. probably. I mean, like around Indy, there's so many. Probably the Beer Brewery might have been one, which is one of my favorites.
Fair enough.
And then some local ones probably started hitting it. And then going to Michigan, hit some breweries there that probably.
They've got a few.
Oh yeah. Exactly. What's it called? Yeah, the first brewery I ever went to was Molson. So Molson, yeah. Anyway, cool. All right. Upland makes good beer.
Yes.
They're making good beer. They're making very good beer. Yeah. Do you get down there? You central in Indiana? You near Indianapolis?
Yeah. So I live like in Lebanon, which is like 10 minutes, 15, well, probably about 20, 25 minutes from downtown.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was living in northern Indiana for about 21 years. Then my job took me to
northern east, west?
Northern west, about
West.
an hour and a half from Chicago. So it was right between Indianapolis and Chicago.
So you could get to Three Floyds pretty easy at that point. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, I hate to say that I've never been to Three Floyds, but most of but it's a really good one. I've had their beer at bars and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Have you been? So you're not too far away. The one time I've been through Indiana a number of times, but the only time I drove from north to south, coming from Chicago, going down to Louisville, all the windmill farms.
Oh yes,
Just acres and acres and miles of windmill farms. It's like insane.
Yeah, I lived about 15, 20 minutes from that when I lived in Rensselaer.
Gotcha.
So
I actually drove across Indiana, Route 80, I believe it was, and I tell you, the thing about Indiana on Route 80 is you get so excited to see a tree rather than just corn. No offense to your state, but that is one of the most boring stretches of Route 80 you could pop because it's perfectly straight.
Yeah,
it is. It's you get this tunnel vision, and you're just you feel like you could put the car on cruise control and take a nap.
Right? Yeah.
As long as your alignment's good.
Right. Or you have lane assist.
Or lane assist. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Wow. It's that. But I've been. Where was I? I was in Batesville, Indiana once.
Okay, down south.
Yeah, that was fun. We were at a bachelor party at a place called Tuba's.
Fair enough.
Tuba's was an old bowling alley that they had turned. They had turned it into a cornhole.
Oh court. Wow!
A cornhole court.
And the funny thing is, we came in. There was about 8 of us. We gave the guy $500 and said, "Tell us when you're done. When we've trekked through this." We'll
and 10 minutes later, he came over to you.
Well, first he said, "Because $500, because beer's kind of cheap out here. It's going to take you a long time to get through this 500 if you get through it at all."
Right.
And about hour and a half later, he comes out and goes, "I don't know this with you people from Jersey, but man, you people can drink." Because you're about $50 off of it right now. So we tore through that. I forget how much alcohol we went through. The great thing is, though, I think Tuba drove some of us home that night.
There you go.
Indiana's very kind of making sure you get home.
There you go.
Oh yeah, they're really good. Even though I think he drove the U-Haul and nearly dropped the trailer at the railroad crossing.
There you go.
So many stories from that I'm not allowed to talk about.
You're not going to do that. No. I got as it should be. But I got a funny one for you. Talking about what you say, like a boring state, like the drive through, right? Not necessarily things to do in the state, but the drive through on the interstate, right? Funny you say that, right? So on that trip, we were going from Chicago down to Louisville, and we stopped, went all the way down to Columbus, and we got off 65, and we drove to 450 North, right? The brewery 450 North in Columbus, and that's where we had dinner, some beer, and then we were going to continue on another 45 minutes to an hour down to Louisville, and So we get to Columbus. Now, mind you, when I got off 65, it was starting to get dark, so it was dusk, right? And we're driving through nothing but cornfields, like Dave just said. And you know, you get there's a little bit of, you know, maybe a half a mile before we got off the second highway when we got off 65, and then we're driving through nothing but cornfields. You don't see anything. There's no houses. There's no nothing for miles and miles and miles. And finally, we get to 450 North. You know, as you're driving up, it's picture it getting really dusky, right? It's not completely dark yet, right? But and then you don't see any light, and all of a sudden you see this little light out in the distance, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And that was 450 North, right? So we get there, and it was busy. You know, there's people there. So we go in. We're sitting at the bar, and we, you know, as we always say, we strike up a conversation with the guy sitting next to us, and we start talking. You know, well, we're on a trip. We're doing this. What do you got? What are you doing? Yeah, I live around. He lives around there, right? He's from Columbus. Okay, and we were talking about the drive, and we told him how far we had driven that day, and he said he hates long drives. He says he can't. The last time we went on a long drive, he had to drive through Kansas.
Oh,
right, all right, and he said Kansas was by far the most boring drive he's ever driven before, and I looked at him and I said, "You live here, and you said that. I never want to drive through Kansas."
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
So, but yeah, no, like you said, everybody's super friendly. I mean, we must have talked to like 12 people while we were sitting there. It was amazing. It was great. And the beer, you know, 450 North. Have you been to 450 North, Mike?
I have not been.
Have you had the beer?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, they're known for their overly fruited, thick pastry sours, right?
Yeah.
But and if you like that beer, they're very well done.
Right.
Okay. So if you like that style, and we had them, you know, to have them just to, you know, to try it. But I actually had a couple of IPAs there that were actually really damn good. So they know what they're doing there. They're just focusing on the, you know, their niche, right? What they're doing.
Yeah, we know a few breweries.
We know a few breweries that do that.
Yeah. You talk about striking up a conversation. Well, let's talk about why Mike's on the show here.
Exactly.
Mike and I ran into each other a couple Decembers ago. I was down visiting my brother and my kids for the holiday season, but I was with my brother. We hit Nobo Brewing. Mm-hmm. And Mike, why were you in Florida?
Brian was there too. Brian was on the show too.
Brian was on the show.
As he usually is around Christmas.
Except for this last one because he had some family issues. But Mike, why were you in Florida?
My daughter and son-in-law live in Florida. And so I was visiting them. It was right around Christmas time.
Yep. There you go.
And they're into craft beer as well, correct?
My daughter is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, she enjoys it, and my kids.
You taught her well.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we have a pupper. Wait a second.
We have a puppy. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of dog? Every time
it is a chocolate lab.
A chocolate lab.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I
go down to Florida quite often just to visit them. I have my grandson down there, so I get to see them, and they have some foster kids, and so I get to spend some time with them. And,
that's neat.
Yeah.
How old's your grandson?
He is 2 3/4. He turns 3 in October.
2 3/4.
It's like when they hit 5, the fractions.
The fractions stop.
They do.
Right, as soon as they start going to school and you have other things to talk about, whether it's pre-K or whatever, then you can lay off the halves of the month.
Yeah, you throw the grade in. They're in this grade. Yeah. And what's some of your favorite breweries down there when you go visit her?
Oh, wow. You know, it's funny. My daughter bought me for my birthday. It was called a brew pass, and you would go into the different breweries and you get a free beer.
What town is this?
Prosperity Brewery is one of my favorite down there.
It's in Boca, right?
Yes, that's in Boca. I'm trying to think of some of the others. We go to Delray Beach.
They just opened a new brewery in Delray Beach.
Yes, and I can't think of the name of it. Oh, rats. I'll think of it as we keep going here.
My brother was just there, too.
Oh, what is it? It's right by the railroad. It's
in Delray Beach. Okay.
Yeah, it's right by the railroad tracks.
Not
they had
Delray Craft. Delray Craft's been open for a little while.
Yeah.
Not Beer Trade. That's been open for a little while too. No, not Opportunities. What was it?
Yeah, that one's really. I really like that one.
Saltwater.
Nope, that's
Saltwater.
Is Saltwater the new one?
I think, but that's the one. Yes. Yeah. I think so.
Gotcha.
So that was one of my yes. We really like that one. And then West Palm Beach, they have it, and I can't think of a name, but it's a dog bar where like it's a bunch of different beers and the dogs run around and they're in a fenced area. And, it's
cool.
awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. 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 It's always funny whenever I come down there, and my daughter and I will always go out for a beer or two and sample different kinds and try different kinds. So.
You taught her well.
I'm very proud of that. Yes.
There you go. All right.
Yes.
Pat on
Keep
the back
it on the
for you
tradition for the Feagans family.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my boys don't drink, and I think it's because I made them fearful for taking beer away from me.
That is not yours. That is mine. Put it down. Leave it alone. Back away. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Well, we met at Nobo.
Yes.
North Boynton
Brewing. Yeah.
Yes.
Darren White was on the show. They had a taco truck there that day.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a taco truck that day. Yeah.
But around the corner,
Of course, I was sitting right here while you guys were enjoying the beer at Nobo and eating the tacos off the truck. I was
in the warmth
in this chair.
Yeah. I was trying to get some FaceTime that night. After a few more beers, I snuck in and waved. I don't know if you saw me.
Right.
We had the thing was we had to like really separate within the brewery because we were getting so much feedback. My brother sandwiched in one corner. I was kind of off the bar a little bit, and Darren had his phone propped against the taps.
Right.
It was one of the weirder setups we'd ever tried to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, that's just like, remember when we did the show, when Matt and I did the show from Single Cut up in Clifton Park, New York.
Oh, from the hotel room.
No, not from the hotel room this year. Last year on the way back. February 2022, we had stopped at and did the show live. He and I were there anyway. You were home, but yeah, it was super feedback. So we actually had to separate by about 4 or 5 tables. He was over there, I was over here, and nobody was in between us.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah.
But around the corner from Nobo was one of my favorite down in that area, Copper Point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Copper Point does some good stuff, but Nobo, love Nobo.
What was the one that just closed? Was it like Deep South or South? It was right around that area too. There was it was near.
Yeah.
The way you said that Deep South, I seem to remember
Deep South. Yeah.
That said that Deep South closed. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it was right around. It was actually even closer to Copper Point than Nobo was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those three were all within like 4 blocks of each other, except to get to Nobo to the other two was like a long drive. It was deep into the industrial park.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, we were really kind of set. Deep South, if that's what it was called, had some really good beer, and we just started liking it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're closing next month," and we're like, "Oh, yeah."
Can you pack up a bunch of stuff for us? Put it in a couple boxes, and we'll take it.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. You gotta love it. But cool. What? By the way, Samurai, what's your second beer? I know you opened it, and I'm about half finished with my second one too. So.
This one's going to take a little while because this is one of the more challenging beers per se.
As opposed to the second one, as opposed to the third one you're going to have.
Well, the third one, yeah. Well, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to taste the third one. When you drink one of these, resin really leaves a lingering taste.
Resin really leaves a little resin in your mouth?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, it's not quite the level of Palate Wrecker or Maharaja.
Right.
Palate Wrecker or Maharaja, you won't taste anything for weeks after drinking one of those things.
And on those levels too, don't forget Revolution's Unsessionable.
That's another brutal beer.
Yeah, that's a brutal beer. So.
Yeah, there's a point where
hence the name.
Yeah, there's a point where the IBUs can't be measured anymore.
That beer's 10%, 100 IBUs. Unsessionable.
And then I think 99 is when you can't measure them anymore. Just say 100.
Right.
But yeah, this one's, I forgot what a brutal beer this is. A yummy beer. but I mean,
Oh, it's tasty.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
there you go.
overly tasty, maybe.
My second one, let me just pour the rest of it off there. My second one, I stayed in Pittsburgh for my second one. Asteroid, not asteroid, just asteroid. Asteroid from Dancing Gnome.
Very nice.
Dancing Gnome. Love the beer out in Pittsburgh. Dave will say, I love Pittsburgh. It's
Dancing
great.
Gnome's going to be at Hops for Hope.
Okay.
Actually, I noticed that today, this weekend when I was in Ghost Talk Brewing.
Fair enough. That's always a good thing.
So, Mike, have you opened a second, or are you still?
I'm getting ready to open my second. It's from People's.
Mhm.
I did a very good job. It's one of my favorite restaurants in West.
We do that all the time. We always go the wrong direction.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, it's from Nine Irish Brothers, and it's an Irish red style ale.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Sticking with the Irish theme here.
Over in West Lafayette, they're a great food. Great. They make the best Guinness that I've tasted in Indiana. Like, they know how to pour it, and they do a really good job. But People's is a brewery in Lafayette, Indiana.
Okay.
You can see their little slogan at the top. They do a lot of stuff with Purdue and stuff, and it's just a really nice brewery. It's like a little one, but their beers in a lot of different restaurants and stuff, and they hooked together with Nine Irish Brothers.
No,
it's not like an advertisement.
Yeah, right.
No, it's perfectly fine. A lot of breweries have gone towards making these cocktail beers.
Yeah.
Now, I certainly hope they've done a Boilermaker.
So,
do they do a beer that's supposed to be a Boilermaker? Well, Boilermaker is really just what? It's something with a sidecar, isn't it?
Isn't it?
A Boilermaker's a beer with a shot of whiskey in it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
So all they got to do is whiskey barrel age a beer, and you've got a Boilermaker.
You got a Boilermaker.
There you go. Hey, that might be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the traditional one is right. It's a light lager, right, or a lager. And you're not going to take a 9% high resiny, high IBU.
One of these
double IPA and drop the. That's a completely different. You want something that's you want a crisp lager. That you drop a shot of whiskey in.
I didn't.
And who's going to barrel age a crispy boy, right? So
it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
This is poor planning. When you drink something like this, you need pretzels.
There you go.
Woof.
Any of those. Woof. Woof. Speaking of woof, you didn't tell us the name of your chocolate lab.
Her name is Moki.
Moki.
Is Moki camera shy?
I'm sorry.
Is Moki right there?
Yeah.
There's Moki. Oh, she is camera shy.
Bye, Moki.
Oh, she came over the other side. Oh, we love having pup-pups on the show.
Oh, yeah.
She loves to go to Metazoa Brewery because it's a dog brewery. And so whenever we go there, I drink the beer, and she says hi to everybody, and she's like a welcoming committee with everybody at Metazoa.
There you go.
Oh, you mean she's a lab?
Right.
Yeah, she's a lab for sure.
Oh, she's a lab, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. All right. Mike, you obviously you and Samurai met down in Florida while you were on a trip down to there. You go anywhere else? You do any other trips as far as where you've taken in other breweries? So obviously we've talked about breweries you've been to in Florida that you like when you went with your daughter and son-in-law. We talked about breweries that you like when you're home in Indiana. Anywhere else?
Yeah. So right now my son is living in Bolivia.
Okay.
So he's working at a children's home, so I go down there quite often. Mm-hmm. Well, once a year, I should say, quite often.
Hey, look, let's stop a second here. Your daughter fosters children.
Yes.
Your son's working at a children's home in Bolivia.
Mm-hmm.
You've done something right, Mike.
Well, thank you. I'm very.
I'm fairly certain that you obviously going through and sending you information back and forth on Facebook, seeing what you do. I'm fairly certain you do something, that involves, children as well.
Me?
You, yeah.
Yes. I'm an assistant principal at an elementary school, and I've been in education. This is my 31st year.
Wow. So you are very used to spitballs.
That's a nice way to put it.
That would be a big yes. That would be
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, well, kudos to that.
So
Cheers.
yes.
As Samurai just downs the last of his resin to get it down. How's your palate? How's your palate doing there?
What palate? It's gonna make this last one really interesting because actually, well, one was the ratcheting up of ABV. First of all, the second of all was ratcheting up of flavor, because the next one I'm opening, yes, believe it or not, is a super flavorful, maybe even more flavorful than resin. It's from Barreled Souls, and it's a triple.
Barreled Souls. Do we know anybody who likes Barreled Souls?
Yeah, I know someone who is an absolute whore for Barreled Souls.
I know a couple people that are whores for Barreled Souls, but
there's one in particular who apparently only drinks Modelo. But
he loves Modelo and Barreled Souls, and hopefully another brewery from New Jersey too. But that's besides the point.
This one, what I love about this one is it's got a Fresh Prince reference to it. It's called "Smell You Later."
Yo, Holmes, smell you later.
Is that a Simpsons beer, or doesn't they say that a lot? Smell you later.
Well, yeah, Bart Simpson says that,
Yes.
but
no, I'm pretty certain this is a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reference. It's a triple IPA coming in at 11.2, and I remember the first time I came back with a 4-pack, and the reason I bought a triple IPA is because I was shit-faced drunk at Barreled Souls because of all the barley wines.
I got to be honest with you, it's not hard to get shit-faced drunk at Barreled Souls. It's really not hard at all. No.
With the big stouts,
you could get 4 tasters and would be well on your way.
Yeah, because you're looking at like 12-13% barley wines
and up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, yeah, triple sounds like a good idea. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I drank this one, okay, I don't like triples, and well, this follows suit. Second time I drank it, like, it's actually not a bad triple.
Right.
Third time I drank it, like, I actually kind of like this. So now that I've drank resin first, this is going to be refreshing.
It's going to be, So, well, yeah, right. The alcohol content is higher, 2% higher, to be exact, 2% higher, and the 2.1% higher. I'm sorry, but the IBU's got to be a little bit lower than resin, right?
The IBU is lower. This is creamier, as you can probably tell from that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I love putting stuff that's dangerous in my burial glass.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there? Wow.
By the way, I don't think I ever told you. When I was at burial in February, I had put our stickers on the van.
Nice.
Not the. What's the other location down in?
You were in South Slope. The van's in South Slope.
The van's in South Slope. Yeah, we were at both burial locations, but the van's in South Slope. So I put both of our stickers in a couple of places actually on the van on South Slope. And then when I was back at burial in May, both of your stickers were intact, but the 2 coastal stickers, one of them was half ripped off, and the other one had another sticker over it.
Oh, I hope you fixed that situation.
I took care of that situation.
So I kind of almost ran out of stickers.
Mm-hmm. You ordered more. There you go.
I ordered more. So
there you go.
We got some of those. We'll have to start sending some of those out to.
Guess what? Guess what we're going to be doing in the next 2 weeks.
What are we doing in the next 2 weeks?
We will have Lager Room stickers.
Very nice.
We will have Lager Room shirts.
Can you order them off the website?
You will be able to order them off the website. You'll be able to order a few other things, Lager Room coffee mugs, Lager Room pint glasses, stuff like that, off of the website. And this also doesn't pertain just to Lager Room. This also pertains to the sports podcast as well. The Get On With It Sports podcast. There'll be Get On With It stickers. There'll be Get On With It t-shirts. Those guys. Yeah, tomorrow night. It's a Wednesday night thing.
So Mike, the song that you heard when we started as a band called Log, and
out of Denver,
and his other podcast, which is about sports, Harry Lovenuts is one of the guys. He is one of the writers of that song and performers of the song, and he sings it, doesn't he?
He sings it too. That's his voice.
Yeah. So we originally got,
and I grew up with him, and I was in many bands with him, just not Log because he's in Denver and I'm in Jersey. So,
and actually, originally YouTube gave us a really hard time about using that song, saying, "Hey, do you have the rights to it?"
Yeah, this is somebody else's. This isn't yours. I'm like, especially the sports podcast. I write YouTube back. I was like, "Do you hear the voice on the song?" Okay, he's also the voice, one of the 3 voices on the podcast. So shut up and put our song back up.
Now, Mike, tell us a little bit.
Yes.
So did you finish talking about other places you've gone to drink?
No, we got
We got sidetracked. Finish that.
We went off on a tangent on this show. No, it doesn't.
We do it all the time.
I was shocked. Yes. So, when I visit my son, we'll go out to eat. And
Bolivia, right? Bolivia.
Yes, Bolivia. There's a couple restaurants there that serves beer. They have a honey beer down there that is so amazing. I actually brought it back, and it's so sweet, and it has a great taste to it. On a hot summer day, it was a great beer to drink down there. So.
That's nice. Now we were talking about Sam Adams earlier. We've got a brewery in New Jersey, Flounder Brewing. Their flagship is actually a collaboration with Sam Adams, and it is a honey beer.
Oh wow!
And what's interesting about and what's great is it's a honey beer, and honey can be such a hard product to work with a beer, right? If your temperature is too hot when the honey gets added, you're going to scald the honey. You're going to get all kinds of off flavors. You're going to get almost like tannins out of the honey when you do that. Mm-hmm. But man, Jeremy at Flounder does a really good job of working with that.
Yep.
So
it was actually a contest that he did up at Sam Adams, and he won. And got to brew a beer with Sam Adams, and he brewed that beer, and it's his flagship beer. So
now, are there other beers in Bolivia that you've had? Is there a craft beer scene?
Do what?
Is there a craft beer scene in Bolivia?
They had a brewery, and the last time I went down in June, I think it went out of business. But they did have a brewery there, where they made some beer and stuff. They have their national beer is kind of you probably say it's the Coors,
the Chicha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But then they also have some local ones that they do.
So think about Chicha. Anybody who's listening who's not familiar with Chicha, it is something that most Americans would turn their nose up at, because to get the corn to the point where you can get the soluble sugars out of it, you need certain enzymes to break it down. Those enzymes come from human saliva, and they chew the corn, spit it into a bucket, and then that gets fermented. Which makes most Americans go, ew.
It doesn't matter. No. See, you got the wrong data there. It doesn't make most Americans go ew. It makes all Americans go ew.
You're going to go that route.
Not all, because Sam Calagione brewed a Chicha. He had his staff chew corn for a week to the point where their jaws were so sore.
I did not have that beer.
Neither did I.
No.
No, you've had bull testicle beer.
Well, that's different, right? Nobody's chewing the bull testicles, right?
Wait a second. Human saliva versus bull nuts.
All right. They didn't chop the bull nuts up. All right. If they did, I wouldn't have had that beer. All right. It's an oyster stout. It's just a Rocky Mountain oyster stout. Okay. One in Rome or one in Denver. I guess it was at Wynkoop. And the next time you go to Denver, you're having it. I know you go.
Oh, you know I'm going to. I'll try anything once. Remember, when I was in Montreal, I had raw seal.
You know what? I did it on a dare. I took a sip of it, and it was fantastic. So I finished the beer. Would I get it again? You know what? Probably, because I've had it already, so it's not going to make me gag or anything. But it's not. It has nothing to do with that. It tastes like a regular oyster stout. It's just got a silkier mouthfeel. But like I said, it's not like they chop the testicles up and mix them in with the beer.
Hey, John, is it creamy?
I see what you did there.
Okay, let's get off. So, Mike, where else? Where else have you gone to?
Cincinnati. Cincinnati's only about a 2-hour drive from here. So
sure.
Get some of theirs.
What's your favorite brewery in Cincinnati? Stay there for a second.
It's right across the river from Cincinnati, and it's I always mess up the name. I want to say Under the Casket, or Hold on, let me.
Was it in
Google
Kentucky or is it still in Ohio?
It's right across the river, so it's in Kentucky. We just happened to walk down. Like my fiance and I were walking down the street, and hey, there's a brewery. Let's walk there, and walked in, and it was like phenomenal beer. And they had some aged beer, that had a little whiskey taste to it that was so good. Hold on, let me look. Oh, I can't think of what it was. But it's right across, and I can't think of the town that's right across the.
Newport, right?
Yeah.
Right across. While you look for it, have you been to Rheingeist in Cincinnati?
Yes, love Rheingeist.
Rheingeist is great. Yeah, I was just in Rheingeist a couple months ago. It was fantastic. As always.
Is it wooden cask?
Wooden cask. That's right. Yes, because I would always say cask, and she's like, "It's not casket, it's cask." Yes.
The one thing I learned about the show, we used to have producers who would look this stuff up for us.
Yeah, and we didn't hire them by any means, right? They were like the novelty wore off about a year in, which was like a couple of years ago. Our third anniversary is coming up in a couple of weeks, but whatchamacallit, yeah, the novelty wore off about a year in, where because we had a couple of guys that watched every show, and anytime anybody brought anything up, they were on the computer, bing, bing, boom, looking it up, and boom, it came right up on the comments. But yeah, that hasn't really happened.
So now
one of them has an excuse.
Yeah, but John and I have gotten very good at doing that research on the fly now.
That's good.
As you can tell.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to do it, and I was like, "Oh, and you guys are faster than I am."
Well, you're on your phone. I'm on my PC, and I've got a screen that's this friggin' wide, so I can have like 5 windows open.
I once had a PC this big. Exactly. So yeah, Rheingeist is phenomenal in Cincy, and of course you can't go to Cincy without getting Cincinnati chili too, right?
Yes.
4-way or 5-way. The
5-way.
And I tell you what, that's one of the best places to watch a Major League Baseball game.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah. Great American Ballpark.
You got the Ohio River behind it. Food's great. The beer's good. Yeah. Easy parking.
Hold that, foreshadowing. But we're going to talk to you about sports in a little bit, just because we want to,
okay,
or just because I want to anyway.
Yeah, he's.
But you mentioned Louisville. I'm assuming against the grain.
I haven't been in that one.
Okay, because that's actually in the Louisville Sluggers stadium.
Okay. You know what? When I was there, they were closed.
Okay.
But they were going to open up an hour later, and I was
like diagonally across the street from Angel's Envy.
Oh yes, which is amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, well, we just don't start talking bourbon. My bar is right there.
I just happen to have a little Hudson whiskey right here, like my bar's right here, but I just happen to have this bottle right here. So
my bar's
as you can see, I drank a little of it, as you can see.
Just a little bit. I did finish my bottle of Slane, by the way.
I'm shocked.
Mm-hmm. I didn't bring any Irish whiskey home with me.
I'm shocked, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. So am I. I'm like, I missed something.
Well, you know what? I mean, I would have told you to get. I would have told you if anything, I would have said because you can get green spot here, but you couldn't get yellow spot for the longest time. You can get yellow spot here now. So
I could have gotten Redbreast 12 for $65,
and you should have.
That almost sounds like going to Ireland and drinking a Budweiser, not a Guinness, not bringing.
Yeah, that's just as big.
Can you believe somebody did that?
Yes. Who would do something like that?
Right.
The other thing now, so Mike, you're right in the Indianapolis area.
Yes.
What is the craft beer scene like in that area? Is it growing? Is it static? What's going on?
It's very much growing. I mean, and it's funny. We're starting to get I want to name a few. We have Sun King. If you ever had Sun King.
Oh God, yeah, Sun King makes great beer.
Yep.
Yeah, so that and it's
they do that. They do that popcorn beer, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That really intrigues me. That popcorn beer.
Is there any butter on the popcorn?
It's all diacetyl. It's diacetyl beer.
It's a glass of diacetyl.
Yeah. But I think what you're seeing in Indiana, especially around Indianapolis, is you're seeing like Beer Brewery. They're opening up another one like on North Side, and it's getting bigger and making it a bigger facility. Metazoa is like getting bigger. They're setting up a tap room, and you still have your local ones, like Lebanon, where I live, we have a little local one. Then Whitestown has one that's really good called Moontown Brewery, which I think you're starting to see some of the major ones getting a nice following that they're just expanding. Like Sun King, like Upland. Upland's got 3 or 4 breweries now.
That's great stuff they make. Yeah,
Upland's amazing. The beer.
Yeah,
the beer,
and you guys had
we get we get Upland in New Jersey. We get.
You get Upland in New Jersey. Okay. Have you ever had Quaffon?
No,
I have not. No.
Okay, that's in Brown County, but it's like they had a place in West Lafayette. It's a kind of a pizza place, but it's more, the beer is amazing. They have a strawberry blonde. There's one right in Speedway. It's Big Woods Pizza, but they have a lot of Quaffon beer, and that's amazing.
Nice.
You need to spell that.
Quaffon. Quaffon. N.
No, I think it's Quaff. Hold on, and then ON. Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys search it faster than I would, but I'm
Quaffon. Quaffon. Okay. Not Queeff. We don't want to do that.
It's 2 words. Quaff on.
Yeah.
Quaff on.
With an exclamation mark.
Quaff on. Right.
Yeah.
Don't forget the exclamation mark at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And both of you, by the way, very kudos for overlooking me adding the E's in between the F's and the Q. Never mind.
I never listen to you.
I say Queeff.
No, no. We're not going to go there. So now, as far as the beer styles, a lot of places in the U.S. we're seeing people starting to depart the IPA craze. You still have them.
Nobody's departing. There's some people starting to depart that.
Right. Where you're seeing a little blowback from it. And there's been an embracing of the lagers, the pilsners, the old German styles, the old British styles, the old Czech styles. Is that something you're seeing in Indiana?
You see, I've never been a big IPA person, but you're starting to see, like, there's some places like it's majority IPAs.
Right.
That's what the owner wants, and that's what he likes, so that's what they kind of go with. What's neat about Indiana, you see a lot of porters.
Porters.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that kind of comes more towards the winter time where people want the heavier beer, but you'll see a lot of lagers. Like, I know, like the one local, like they'll have a porter all the time, and then they'll have a couple IPAs, and then they'll have like they call like a Mexican beer, and like a hot Pinot beer, or kind of a strawberry. We're starting to see kind of a movement of some like different like blueberry beer. Blueberries are real big in June and July, so we start seeing a lot of blueberry beers coming out.
Nothing wrong with that.
There are some excellent ones, really good ones there. So it's a nice mix. I don't think like I follow a few on Facebook or Instagram, and they're starting like like right now the bunch of Oktoberfest and pumpkin beers are coming out, but they're not afraid to send out a new lager. Hefeweiser is really big around here.
Really,
a lot of people drink those.
Yeah, Sun King's got a really great hef.
Yes, yeah. So does Beer Brewery. Beer Brewery is a really top-notch brewery around here. It is BIER, and I have to spell that one for you because I've been there multiple times.
Apparently they're closing at 9.
Yeah. They're closing at 9. There you go.
You can make it.
Where are they located in Indy? Because obviously the timeline, the time zone line goes through Indiana. So, I mean, it could be an hour, it could be 2 hours from now. So
that's a real sore subject.
Is it 70? Is it 7 by you right now, or 8?
It is 8.
It is 8.
So I'm near Indy, so everything near Indy is Central Time.
Central Time.
I'm sorry, Eastern time.
Eastern
Eastern
time.
time. Yeah, they don't do that. So when do the breweries close?
So it's being a midweek, they'll close 9 or most of the time it's 9 or 10.
Okay.
Weekends, weekends it's usually 10 or 11, some midnight. I know like Saturday night we went to Metazoa and they were open till midnight, and then a couple other breweries around them were open until midnight. So, and it's funny, like being in Florida, Ohio, and different places. Like the thing I noticed about India, like Florida has more food trucks that goes to the breweries. Where like here you're starting to see more breweries kind of open up a little kitchen and doing their own special food and stuff.
Yeah, that's always good.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that we wanted to discuss a little bit is brewery laws, the laws in the states, because New Jersey, the breweries, you can either have a brewery or a brew pub.
Yeah.
A brewery can distribute their beer. They can't serve food. Brew pub can serve food, but they can't distribute their beer.
Right.
Yeah.
And almost every other state, if the brewery wants, they can have a kitchen in their brewery and serve food.
Yeah.
I think the only other place that I've seen where their laws are a little more, almost as backwards as ours, is Utah. But that's the Mormons, and they're starting to relax their laws a little bit.
Yeah.
So in Indiana you have breweries that cook and serve food.
Yes. So here's what's funny. So like being an educator, sometimes you have to work extra jobs to, stay afloat.
Yeah.
And one of my jobs was bartending.
Hey, kudos to you.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
Thank you.
So you bartended.
Yeah. And it was always because like, they're like, on Sundays, you have to make sure you have some type of food there for them to eat. Then you can serve beer.
Sure.
And then for the longest time in Indiana, like my kids couldn't go into a brewery, but if they had a wall around the bar, they could eat at the restaurant, but they couldn't eat there. And then they just changed that July 1st this year that anybody could go in any, you don't have to be you could be under 21 and go in that. But talking about what you were talking about, we went to, it's called Big Woods, but they sold a lot of Quaffon beer, and we went in with a growler, and we're like, hey, we'd like to get the strawberry blonde. And the lady's like, oh, we can't sell that here on Sundays. And we're like, why not? You're part of Quaffon. She goes, oh, you have to go down to Brown County to the brewery to get the tap room. And I was like, but she said, but if you were here on Saturday, we could do a growler, but on Sundays we can't. And they can only sell it. Yeah, and we're like, that makes no sense. And she's like, I'm just,
is this something with the? Is it something with the brewery? Are they? Is it a deal with the brewery where on Sundays the brewery wants people to go down to the brewery and not? That's interesting.
It is. Yeah, it was one of those things like we were just like shocked, like and I don't know if it's just like what you were saying. It was like they didn't have the rights for it, or like I don't know. It was just kind of weird. Like
you got to remember, counties can have certain restrictions as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
We saw something in Jersey that happened, and this will hit home for you, Mike. There were certain counties that banned breweries from allowing dogs in the brewery.
Really?
Because it's a food. Because they make food in their eyes. The best part about it.
They don't make food, by the way.
They don't.
They make beer, but beer is food. So.
Right. But the best part about that whole thing is that a lot of when that one county started really sticking to those rules, some of the other counties started waking up and doing the same thing. But this being New Jersey, and Jersey's mantra being "fuck that shit," pardon language.
No, pardon the language. That's actually the mantra.
So many breweries, like, do what you want. We're allowing dogs at our brewery.
Right.
Some of the breweries were like, okay, dogs aren't allowed. That's they wanted to follow the rules, but so many of the breweries, we've got rules right now that the ABC have put in that are quasi on hold, and many of our breweries had considered them on hold when they announced them. And now almost all of our breweries.
Four words for those. Don't get me started.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, this will take a while, but right
I'm
now,
shutting up, but continue.
pretty much every brewery right now is ignoring all.
They're not ignoring. They're actually ignoring. What it is there were really quick. There were a set of directives. Really, I mean, you can't.
They're not laws
because they're not laws. They're just guidelines that the Alcoholic Beverage Commission, the control of the state, put in place because they have autonomy. They can make up whatever they want. Yeah. They could say, "I don't like that picture. Take it down. Here's a $5,000 fine." They literally can do that.
Non-elected official, by the way.
Yeah. So anyway, there were things that were approved to change. The governor hasn't signed it yet, so the ABC said, "You know what? We're not gonna enforce things for the next little bit." So,
well, which was smart on their part because our breweries were not adhering anyway. So it's Jersey. We've got a reputation. It's well earned. We enjoy that reputation, even though we're not as nasty as most people think we are. But we like people to think we are.
Although I probably shouldn't have said that, but that's besides the point.
Beside the point.
But I don't care.
Yeah, that's another mantra.
Because look, they shouldn't have to say that, right? Because it should be signed. Sign the damn thing. Just sign it. It was unanimously approved. Sign it. It's good. It's good to go. Go ahead. Go for it. We applaud them for saying that. Thank you. Whatever. But there you go.
What were those 4 words he said? Don't get him what?
Started. Yeah, he's just kind of started. I'm kind of getting him started.
Let's change the subject. I get back to what I was going to ask you before.
Okay.
Right?
I'm ready.
Sports. Baseball. Who's your team? Baseball.
Oh yeah, in Indianapolis. Who's your team in Indianapolis?
So that's funny you said that. So I grew up south of Indianapolis, between Indianapolis and Bloomington. So either you're a Cardinals or Reds fan. I was always a Reds fan. I grew up with Johnny Bench.
I kind of gathered that from you saying that Great American Ballpark was the best place to watch a game. So.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know that my future son-in-law, my daughter and he are engaged. The wedding is planned. Okay. Was at one point a pitcher for the Reds in the minor leagues. In the minor leagues. But yeah,
he wasn't he wasn't for the Indians at that time, was he?
No. He was the highest he made it was to the Dayton Dayton Dragons, the Double-A team. That's the highest he got. Yeah. And he blew out. Unfortunately, he blew out his elbow. Oh. And he opted not to get Tommy John, and because then he would have been looking at 27, trying to make a comeback in Double-A. So he called it a career, right? But he was pitching in the Reds organization. In fact, that being said, his roommate every year in spring training was your closer right now on the Reds.
Oh wow,
Diaz, yeah, Edwin Diaz's brother. Your closer. So they were roommates in spring training.
We probably don't have to ask you your football team.
Actually,
well,
hold on. So, but when I was teaching up in Rensselaer, everybody was Cubs fans. So you kind of had to cheer for Cubs a little bit up there because that was all Cubs, but I was still a diehard Reds fan.
Fair enough.
So football, I was always the New Orleans Saints fan because of Drew Brees.
Okay.
But I am an Indianapolis Colts fan. But then when they got rid of Peyton, it was hard to still be a Colts fan. But I'll go to at least 1 or 2 games each year at the Colts.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, man, the question is being a Colts fan. Like if the Colts move to Baltimore.
Move from Baltimore.
From Baltimore. Yeah.
From Baltimore. So there's back and forth because you had the old school Colts. They were gone.
Yeah.
And then did you embrace the move?
Very much. I mean, that was a huge. I remember. I think was that 93?
84.
84. So I always get 90s and 80s mixed up. That's not bad. But
You know what? I mean, there's a reason for that, but we won't go on to that.
Yeah.
That and the show.
We don't have enough time for the show for that.
It's very apparent to me that the 3 of us are in the same age range, right? So, okay. So that being said, all right, with the Colts coming from Baltimore in '84, you growing up in Indiana, when you were young, there wasn't a football team in Indiana.
There wasn't a football team.
So did you? And Drew Brees was not playing for the Saints then either.
No.
So when you were a kid, were you not watching football, or did you?
No, I was a huge Cowboys fan.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be.
Used to be. Then they fired Tom Landry. Then I was like, I'm done.
Fair enough.
Actually, very fair enough. When I was young, I was actually a Steelers fan, because when you're a kid, you want who's winning,
for sure,
right? And so, of course, being a Steelers fan,
I completely go against that mold. By the way, but that's
he does. He's been a
Giants
fan since birth,
no matter how much they've lost. But so I grew up not liking the Cowboys for a whole different reason other than being a Giants fan. But the one thing that you always did was you respected the enemy.
Yes.
So when Jerry Jones took over the Cowboys and he fired Landry, I was livid.
Yeah.
Like, you do not fire that man.
But there's a reason that I was livid that he fired Landry, because Tom Landry was a defensive back for the Giants and then the defensive coordinator for the Giants. The Giants, when the Giants won the NFL championship in 1956, Jim Lee, no. Charlie Carnerly was the quarterback.
Oh, that's right.
But Jim Lee Howell was the head coach. Tom Landry was the defensive coordinator. Vince Lombardi was the offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty damn good coaching staff right there, I gotta say. Right. So,
sure.
But I don't have any problem with any of those old school Cowboys. There's a lot of. It was my hatred for the Cowboys is pretty much, Cowboys fans driven at that point. Right?
Yeah.
That kind of. But
it's hard for me when they get on. I just get mad at them.
But right now the Cowboys. Like, I never was a big Zeke fan. I never was a big Dez fan.
Okay.
Right. T.O. But what?
Zeke? No. You hate Zeke.
Oh yeah, no, I can't stand. I see this one more time. I see this. By the way, those of you listening to the audio podcast, I'm doing the whole feed me bullshit. Okay. Okay. So that. But the biggest Cowboy the Cowboy that I can't stand the most is Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
But almost every single Cowboys fan that I know agrees with me. So.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. There's always been Cowboys players that I've absolutely admired.
Yes.
Bates.
Yeah.
No one played the game like Bates did. Right? Bates. Oh my God, what's his name? The announcer who used to be the Raiders coach. Help me here, Johnny.
Are you talking about John Gruden?
No, Monday Night Football.
John Gruden.
No.
It's Monday Night Football.
Older than that. Older. Go back.
Oh, older. Oh, what? Oh, John Madden?
Madden. Yeah. Madden once said about Bates, if he can't tackle you, you've got him down. He's going to stick an arm out. If his arm's pinned, he's going to stick a leg out. You got his leg pinned, he's going to stick his tongue out and try to tackle you. Mm. There was never any quit in Bates. There's so many players on that team that I actually did really admire.
Chuck Haley Chuck Haley for the Cowboys just got in the Hall of Fame this year. Only player ever to win the Super Bowl MVP from the losing team. All right. Chuck Howley against the Colts in 1971, 72. Yeah. But anyway, that being said, there's always connections between the Giants. Like, the quarterback for the Cowboys in that Super Bowl was Craig Morton, and Craig Morton became the quarterback for the Giants. Did nothing. Horrible quarterback for the Giants. The whole team sucked. The defense was good. The offense was horrible. Okay. I watched a Giants game in 1976, 77. I watched the last game of the season at the stadium, and Craig Morton stood in the middle of the field. Last play of the game, he threw an interception. I'm pretty sure it was a fumble or something. The whole crowd was booing. Game was over. They lost. Last game of the season. He stood in the middle of the field and gave the entire stadium the finger. Right? Stood in the middle, just whipped around, gave the whole stadium the finger. The Giants traded him to Denver, and he took them to the damn Super Bowl the next year.
Now, here's the thing. This will now explain the tags under our names. Jersey John goes, it's almost beer season. My reply is, what season?
What season?
Because
football season and beer season go hand in hand. I always call
No.
September through December is beer
Thank
season.
you, Mike. Mike, I'm with Mike on this one.
Yes,
always
it's every season's beer.
Oh, no.
It's always beer
It's
season.
always beer season, but especially from now through New Year's, right?
Yeah.
The beers that are released are my favorites. And Brew Guru, John Stardomsky, will agree with me on this. All right, so
I respect that. I get that.
everything from Oktoberfest all the way through to Christmas and winter ales. This is beer season.
Yeah.
It's all year round is beer season, but this is beer season right now.
Yeah,
So beer season and football season go hand in hand. That's why it's a big time of year for me. Anyway.
for sure.
Yeah, my favorite styles start to really ratchet up here. I'm not one of those that will drink a style seasonally unless it's only released seasonally.
Mhm.
I will drink stouts all year round.
Yes, as will I. And on that note, too, we talked about the fact, and I got to tell you this, kind of combining the two. All right, we're talking about sports now. I'm a big Mets fan. Okay, I like the Reds, I like the Reds for a couple of reasons, right? Big Red Machine back in the '70s.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Who doesn't? I mean,
Yeah.
Whatever, right? But so that and the fact that my future son-in-law obviously played for the Reds, but that's besides the point. But I'm a baseball fan too. I'm a Reds fan. I'm a Reds fan. I'm a Mets fan, but I'm a baseball fan.
Yeah.
Right. So tomorrow at 4:05 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, I will be sitting in Citizens Bank Park in Philly, watching the Phillies and the Giants. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Going to a Phillies Giants
What's
game.
it? You going to Human Robot?
At noon, I will be at Human Robot.
Eating a Poe sandwich.
Eating a Poe sandwich and drinking however many lagers they have on the menu tomorrow. So.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
You're welcome to go.
So do you fly to Philly to what? I mean,
I am with no traffic. I'm 55 minutes from Philly. So
from really? Oh wow.
Driving.
Yeah, because he's down by the Jersey Shore.
Okay.
I'm up I'm literally across the river from New York.
Okay.
From New York City. I walk 3 blocks. Boom. New York skyline.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's funny is I grew up about 4 or 5 miles from where he lives right now.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up about 4 or 5 miles from where I live.
Yeah, about 10.
About 10 miles.
There's a major
after a couple of years.
Yeah, there's a major assumption made there that we grew up.
Yeah, no, neither of us.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a major assumption.
Yeah. So, are you going to ask basketball teams, or we?
Well,
yeah, why not? Well,
actually, no. Actually, I'm going to ask the basketball team. Being from Indy, my question to you, sports-wise, as far as basketball is concerned, Larry Bird, the greatest basketball player ever.
Oh, 100%.
There you go.
My son,
whoa! Not Reggie Miller.
No.
Larry Bird from French Lick,
French Lick, Indiana. I know.
French Lick, Indiana.
I know.
Bird could talk trash.
Miller was not from Indiana. He played in Indiana.
Yeah, but he played it. No, yeah. That's fine.
Reggie Miller, when the Pacers drafted Reggie Miller, everybody booed because they wanted to draft Steve Alford from Indiana.
Sure.
You know, like the
Reggie Miller.
boy.
Reggie Miller, like a tool, left the Pacers playbook in a phone booth in New York City. Someone grabbed it and gave it to Don Imus, of all people, who then read it on air.
There you go. But Pacers fan?
Pacers fan, Celtics fan back in the days. In the 80s, it was all
Celtics fan because of
Larry Bird.
You know, the best part was when we went to Ireland, I had to tell Carrie, my partner, that when we go there, please pronounce it Celtic.
Yeah, don't say Celtic, say Celtic.
Celtic is a basketball team and only a basketball team.
Yeah. But I'm waiting for the first time I hear somebody say the Boston Celtics. You know?
It'll never happen.
It'll never happen, right? But in any event,
being from Indiana, basketball is like everything.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
just watch the movie Blue Chip, and that'll
Oh,
tell you.
Yeah.
Hoosiers.
Or Hoosiers.
And Hoosiers.
is
Yeah.
the one that
That's
puts
Hoosiers. That's what I'm
Hoosiers,
thinking more.
yeah.
Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Chips was the college cheat.
Yeah.
And I'm I'll admit it. I'm a Knicks fan. What are you gonna do?
Do they still play basketball?
Well, you know what? They're getting there.
they
They're getting there. They're getting there. Okay, they're getting
I
back
thought they
to what they could be. Right.
I thought I saw they were joining the ACC.
You know what?
That's
So wait. When was the
There's
last time Indiana won a championship? When was that?
1980.
Okay.
but they went through the Knicks to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Okay. When was
They
the
went
last
through
time?
Patrick Ewing in the Knicks.
yeah.
Yeah.
When was So
It might have been
so you're still with on the same level as us. So
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
That's
So
still,
we had
but
some
you know what? I got to give
competition.
them. That's still a damn good burn right there.
That's fine. That's fine. They
I
still
won't
play
be getting
basketball in the
old.
garden. Well, that's because our owner, he likes the hockey team in his garden rather more so than the basketball team in his garden. And mind you, I'm also a fan of his hockey team, but
But he doesn't do the hockey team a solid either.
Well, no, he does because he leaves them alone and lets the people that run it. And he tries to focus on the damn basketball team, even though he shouldn't, because he cares more about the hockey team. So he lets it run on its own because he cares more about it.
Now, Indian, do you?
And he
have-
can't stand Charles Oakley, and I wanted to, smack
do-
the shit out of him for that.
Do you have a hockey team in Indiana?
We don't. We have.
Yeah, they
well,
do. It's called the Chicago Blackhawks. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. There is like a farm team called the Indy Fuel, I believe. Like it's, I don't know what hockey if it's AAA, AA, but they do it pretty good. But we're big Blackhawks fans, Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
There was what was that World Hockey League or whatever back in the late 70s that had the Cincinnati Bees or Cincinnati Bumbles or whatever the hell they were. And the one gentleman that came out of that, I think his name was Mark Messier. I'm pretty sure.
Heard of him?
Yeah.
You mean the captain? Okay,
The captain, right?
This is about the time where I remind everybody this is a beer podcast.
It's a beer podcast.
We're gonna
Yes.
get back to it. I'm trying to figure out a good segue to get it back into beer here, Mike. Help me here. Help me here. We were talking.
At City Field, they have good craft beer. How's that? There we go. All right.
There we go. There's
All right.
a segue. But so when's your next time down to Florida?
Actually, I'm coming down Labor Day weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got to try to figure out a time to get back down there myself. Maybe I'll have to figure out a way to get down where we can meet up again at one of the breweries down there.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Right.
And I'm gonna bring the circle us around really quick for you. One, I haven't mentioned my third beer, even though we mentioned Dave's third beer.
As I was pouring it, yeah.
As you were pouring it, my third beer is this one right here, and it's from last year. Coltsbach.
Source.
From Source Brewing. Spent probably 4 or 5 hours at Source this past Saturday. And this is from last year, whatever. But I had to have this today and as my third beer because obviously it's almost beer season. And Bach, a Bach style will lead me into September, October, right?
There you go.
Well, yeah, because then you're talking about Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Yeah.
Bach, GOAT. It
Oh,
took you, but hold on. Do I need to show one of these?
no.
You know what that is.
I need to show one of these.
But you know what that is.
I know what that is.
Okay.
Why don't you tell Mike?
This used to come on every single bottle of Celebrator.
Every single bottle.
Ianger's
That's
Apple
celebration. Celebrator.
Celebrator. Ianger, right?
I injure you.
Yeah, Ianger. And anytime I got one, I saved it. I've lost so many of those things. I drank so many of those.
It's it's almost akin to you save those like you save the tops of a Blanton's bottle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, do I need to go get mine?
No. We know you have a bunch. It's fine. So,
But just remember, Bach in German just means goat.
it does.
So,
There you go. That's
so
what you said, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady is the Bach,
Yeah.
Larry Bird is the Bach.
unless he's playing the Giants.
All right, now let's break it down though. I know we're getting back into sports here, but okay. If Tom Brady's the GOAT, is Tom Brady the GOAT, period, or is Tom Brady the GOAT? Let's
This generation?
I'm not going to ask the question. I'm going to say, let's just call Tom Brady the GOAT, quarterback GOAT. Okay, because we're going to break it down. Clearly, he's not the linebacker GOAT.
Oh,
he's the quarterback GOAT. Who's the linebacker GOAT?
Lawrence Taylor.
Thank you. Well, I want to know if Mike agrees.
I was trying to think.
Or would Mike Singletary be the GOAT for you?
I mean,
Mike Singletary was a great player, but
what I loved about Singletary is he was undersized.
Yes.
He was slow.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really that great of a coach for San Francisco, but
no, he's an awful coach.
He
was awful. But he was one of the smartest players ever to play the game. He studied tape, and he was always in the hole. He was always where he needed to be on that field. Probably the smartest linebacker. Because let's face it, linebackers typically are not smart. They're just forces of nature. They're just free. They're just these physical freaks out there that are just destroying things. Singletary was a student of the game.
When it comes to OG football teams, it's the Giants, it's the Bears, it's the Packers, and it's the Cardinals actually, because the Cardinals are actually the oldest football team in the NFL.
Okay, we got to bring it back to beer. Back to beer.
Anyway,
save it for tomorrow.
All right. I'll save it for tomorrow.
Mike, what's the next brewery you're hitting?
What's the next brewery you're hitting? And then we're going to do our top threes.
The next brewery that I'm going to hit, probably I might be going to the beer brewery because they've got that pumpkin beer coming out, and that's one of my favorite. They have an Oktoberfest and a pumpkin beer.
Talk to us about pumpkin beers, because John kind of likes them. I kind of hate them.
You don't hate them. You don't. I don't. You don't hate them, and I don't like them. I enjoy them when they're good. You tolerate them when they're good.
Yes.
How's that? Okay.
Mike, what's your take on pumpkin beers?
I like, for the season, like when they first come out, I'm all in, and then I get sick of them.
You mean in July?
Having what's kind of fun is getting an October beer, like October 1, and then like a pumpkin and kind of mixing it.
Oh.
And having that little October, like the Samuel Adams October one, and then mixing it with their pumpkin, and just gives you that little half and half taste, makes it go down very smooth.
John, you've ever done that?
No.
I've never done that myself.
I've never done that.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. You heard it here from Indiana first.
Well, we're going to have to. You know what? We're going to have to try that on the pumpkin show this year.
Yeah, we do. Johnny makes me do an annual pumpkin show.
Okay, this is the 4th annual pumpkin show, so I don't make him do a pumpkin show.
He makes me do a pumpkin show.
I get invited back for the pumpkin beer one.
And the funny thing is, our top 3 every time we do the pumpkin show is top 3 pumpkin beers.
Yours is
never
the same
changes. It never changes.
My honorable mention changes.
Mine are always the same. Always the same.
Don't give them now. Do them on the pumpkin show.
Yeah. You're building the excitement for the October show.
We'll see. Because if you remember, John, the last pumpkin show, I drank a pumpkin that made me almost change my mind.
I did.
Remember that?
I did.
Speaking of top threes.
Something to top threes. Thank you for the segue. Awesome job there, Samurai. That's why they pay you the big bucks. All right. Tonight, folks,
I get nothing.
That's why.
And like it.
And you get nothing. You'll get nothing and like it.
That's a Caddyshack reference, right?
I'll have a cheeseburger. I will have French fries. No onion rings. You'll get nothing and like it.
What does this son say?
Cinderella story. All right. Anyway, tonight's top 3 list is top 3 reasons we love the craft beer industry. We figured this was a great topic. One, we've never brought it up before. All right.
Yeah.
It's never been a top 3, and because this is our first, chance meeting craft beer and buddy, whatever you want to call it, right? Show. we figured this was a good time to do this list. Top 3 reasons we love the craft beer industry. So we're going to kick it off with Mike. Please give us your top 3 reasons you enjoy the craft beer industry.
What's
Probably
going on back there?
Number 3, I'll go 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Yeah, number 3 is just the opportunity to meet people. You know, I feel like breweries, you don't have large bands. You just have people sitting around drinking beer. I mean, that's how we met. And you just kind of, oh, hey, what kind of beer is that? You like it? And then, you know, that kind of gets that. Number 2 is
there's something to that though, because Michael Jackson, not the hee Michael Jackson, the beer whisperer Michael Jackson, a beer hunter. Sorry, beer hunter.
Beer hunter.
Well, we know the beer whisperer. He's something.
Beer whisperer is like, yeah. Beer whisperer is actually guest hosted on this show.
Yeah, but he said that beer was social lubricant.
Yeah, very true.
Yep.
Yeah.
So number 2 for you.
Number 2 would be the variety. You know, you could go there and, you know, if you feel like drinking a stout, you could drink a stout. If you feel like drinking something fruit, you know, I think each brewery kind of has their own little taste, you know, that you could kind of sample different kinds. Like, you know, I'm in a mood for this weekend, and I just, you know, and that's what I enjoy about the breweries in Indiana. There's a nice wide variety. And then number 1, I'm just going to have to say beer's good. You know? I mean, you know, you can go wrong drinking a beer, and, you know, and I just love that you could just go and have a beer and it's ice cold and maybe get a snack or an appetizer, or, you know, it's beer's good, you know. That'd be a good song. Beer is good. You know?
Beer is good. That's a good mantra right there. I agree with everything you said there. I'm going to go kind of a little to the, not to the right or to the left here. My top favorite things about the craft beer industry itself, and I'm probably going to steal a lot of John's here.
Don't steal my main one.
I don't even know what your main one is, but I'm probably going to anyway.
I'm sure. What else is new? That's all I have to say.
Yes. Number 1.
You're going 1, 2, 3?
No, I'm not going 1, 2, 3. I'm going 1, 1, 1.
Fair enough.
These are all very, very important to me in the craft beer industry. Is the charity work that is done. Mike, hold your Stein up again.
Do what?
Hold your Stein up again.
Oh,
right.
Stein.
You know, Mike's talking about a brewery here that their proceeds go towards, you know, what, ASPCA and stuff like that, right? Towards animal, you know, helping animals and all that. And anytime you go to a brewery, there's always an event. Even New Jersey, where events are limited, there's always an event that is raising money for something. And so many of the breweries, and this is what I love, have things to do with their local ASPCAs or local shelters or anything like that. And it's just, I love the civic mindedness of the breweries. I just absolutely adore that. Another one is the fact that the brewery community they're so cohesive. They all work together. There's stealing a word from John.
No, you're not saying it.
I'm not going to say it. I'll let Johnny say it. I'm probably stealing one of his words here. But you don't see, it's rare to see breweries at odds with each other. Yes, every now and then you get those breweries that are, and I'll call one out right now. In Vermont, what's the name of the brewery that does number 6 Magic Hat?
Yeah, they're gone anyway. So
yeah, I call the Magic Ass Hat because they went after a brewery in Kentucky for their logo looking somewhat like their logo for Magic Hat number 6. And they called a cease and desist on it, and it's like, you know, it's a number with a star next to it. Stop. You know, it's rare, but it's rare to see that in the craft beer industry. More often than not, especially within their own state, they're helping each other. They're lifting each other up. there's so many times where you see a new brewery open up in a state where there's a picture of all the other brewery owners or head brewers there helping them mash in their first beer.
For sure.
And I absolutely adore that. But the other one is exactly what you said, Mike. It's the ability to go to a brewery, and it's the inclusiveness of these breweries. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're from. It doesn't matter your sexual leaning, doesn't matter your color, your religion, your political leaning. I've had so many conversations at breweries with people who are diametrically opposed to me religiously, politically, but there's no animosity.
Yeah.
Right. There's an inclusivity in a brewery that you don't find in so many other places. This country is so divided, so divisive. There's this line right down the middle sometimes that's really disturbing to me and hurtful. That's gone at a brewery usually.
Yeah.
And that is so. So John, I'm gonna rephrase it. It's 2-2-1.
Yeah.
2-2-1.
Because that's my favorite thing about the craft beer industry. You go to a brewery and everything's left aside.
For sure.
It's just that connection between drinking great beer and being human.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And that's funny you say that. Like I went to Ball State, and like the number of times when you'd go to a bar, somebody's going to fight. I don't think I've ever seen at a brewery where somebody's in somebody's face, ready to, or frustrated, or hey, you stepped in front of me. No, it's like you said. That's such a good point. Like you leave everything at the door, and you can have a difference of opinion, and pretty soon you're going, what kind of beer were you drinking? Oh, I'll buy you one, or
Yeah.
And that's such a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's my favorite thing about it.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Mine. My number 3. I always roll a little faster. Get through mine because I'm Although a couple of shows ago I went first. That was a first.
That was a first.
I went first.
Well, you went first.
So what should we call it? My number 3 is caring about the local area. Big time. And the local area doesn't need to be just that town, but it can be the state even, right?
Being part of the community.
Being part of the community related, community driven, charity work, anything that has to be like, we're going to do a bunch of stuff at Coastal. So, but that we've already decided that we'll announce that in time. But yeah, caring about the local area, being community driven. That's my number 3. My number 2, the social aspect, meeting people more so at a brewery than in a bar. It's just because, in a bar, you'll talk to people in a bar. Right. But it's kind of a different dynamic, right? In a brewery, you literally, and this has happened even many times to me, and it's happened overall, and I've seen it, I've witnessed it in breweries. You'll become really close friends with people you just meet at breweries. You can be friendly with people you meet in a bar, and very, very seldomly does like a really big connection happen. But at a brewery, it's really it's a family. It really becomes a family.
I'll tell you why, John. People go to a bar for many different reasons.
Absolutely.
People go to a brewery for one
reason.
For sure.
A beer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. And my number 1, and it's the word I'm going to use that I told Dave not to use. It's when it comes to breweries, it's co-opetition. It's not competition. It's co-opetition. My word, I've coined it for many, many years. This industry is all about co-opetition. Nobody, everybody wants to help each other. Okay.
There's no industry like it.
There's no industry like this industry. And the analogy I use is this. Okay. And you can enter in any other industry you want, put in any other thing you want based on what I'm saying, but follow what I'm saying. If you own a pizza place, if you own a pizzeria, and you've had your pizzeria there for a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, you've had a pizzeria there, it's a thriving business. Okay. And another pizzeria comes in, opens up across the street. There's nothing you could do about it. If they decide that's where they want to open, that's where they open. You don't have anything to say about it, right? They're going to take business from you. No matter what you do, you will lose some business from that establishment because they opened right across the street from you. Even if they open around the corner from you, you're still going to lose business.
Yep.
Right across the street. All right. In the craft beer industry, you want somebody to open up across the street. You want somebody to open up across the street, around the corner, down the block, and down the other block.
Now you're a destination.
The more breweries that open up around you, the more money you're going to make, and they're going to make, because you will bring people in not only from the local area, but from the immediate vicinity, from that state, and from out of state. If you have enough breweries in the local area, you will become a destination because people plan trips around going to breweries. It's not just me and Dave. There's many people that do this. Okay. So yeah, absolutely. So it's all about it's all about the co-opetition. There's no competition, it's co-opetition. And we know that there's some outliers, but that's what they are. They're outliers, and it fades away. It's about the co-opetition. So there's my top three. So
that's such a great point you brought. Saturday night, one of our friends' son is going to grad school up in Green Bay. So we went out to eat with him and then took him to some breweries. And we went to like Metazoa. Sun King was like 3 blocks from there. Center Point was like a half a mile from there. And then we ended up on Mass Avenue at like Nine Irish Brothers to listen, but it's not like you said, you can't have 2 pizza places within a half mile. It's, hey, we're closing at 10. Why don't you go to that place down the road? We're still open for another one,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah. My son bought my fiance and I at the time for my birthday. It was a brew pub bus, and so we were living in Rensselaer and we were driving down to Indy, and they were called and said, "Hey, we're going to cancel this." The party that was with you guys wasn't able to make it. And they were like, and my son's like, "Hey, they're driving an hour and a half. They're about half an hour from you, so go ahead and do it." So it was just her and I on this bus trip, and we went to all these different breweries on a bus. And you'd go there and you sample, and then you buy one there, and they kept going, and it was a lot of fun. And everyone you went to, they're like, "Oh, you got to try this one. Did you have this one at that place?" And it kind of really got us into a lot of the breweries at the time.
Very nice. Tell him if you go to Green Bay, okay. Tell him obviously.
I'm gonna be right back, Johnny.
You got it. Hinterland Brewing. That's right next to Lambeau Field.
Okay.
The beer's good. Badger State, it's around the corner, the opposite direction. Titletown and Copper State, they're kind of across the street from each other, about 2-3 miles away from Lambeau. But further out east, and only about 2-3 miles from Titletown and Badger State and Copper State, is Stillmank.
Froze.
Do I freeze? You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Go to Stillmank. Tell him to go to Stillmank. Hit everywhere. Form his own opinion, but get out to Stillmank because they're great. All of them are great people. Stillmank's really cool. Get out there. Get to all of them, but get out to make sure. It's the reason I'm saying it is it's further out of. It's in Green Bay, but it's further out. It's further to the east. Get out to Stillmank.
I'm sure I'll go visit him one time, and we'll make sure we go do that.
You go ahead, get out to Stillmank. Yeah, hit me up and let me know. I'll repeat them to you, or just watch the video again.
What point was that?
Exactly, right at the end. There you go. So, I wonder where Samurai went. Let's take a poll. Where does anybody that's watching think that Samurai just had to go to just now, right now, at 1 hour and 49 minutes into the show, which we're just about to wrap up, why he had to leave the desk right now and not just hang out for another couple minutes.
I think he had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, there you go, Mike. All right, good job. There you go. Good call.
Did I get a free T-shirt sent to me now?
Exactly. So you get the T-shirt sent out. There he's back. Oh, he's running. Look at that. It's always good.
He didn't want to miss the goodbyes.
Right. I wonder where he went. There. Oh, he grabbed another beer. Look at that. He's a glutton for punishment. I'm already done. I got a little bit left, and that's it. Look at that. So, how was the bathroom? Everything come out all right?
I made a few mistakes.
Well, I don't need to know. That's Kerry's problem, not mine.
So is that your third beer you were showing there?
I was just showing that I have a little left in this third beer, and I'm not having a fourth. I see you grabbed a fourth right now.
No, I didn't grab a fourth. I really, really need to sleep tonight.
You got some whiskey.
So you grabbed a bottle of NyQuil? Is that what you did?
Mm-mm.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, the 40-year-old port.
40-year-old port. All right. Well, then I guess I'm going to have to pour a little bit of my Hudson whiskey into this glass. No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
So yeah, Mike, we have a regular guest on the show, Tom Overhill, and we did a port show with him once.
A couple months ago, we did a port show. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a sloppy night. I mean, it was a good night. That was a good night.
Oh, no, it was a good show. The show wasn't sloppy, but afterwards.
And just as an announcement, okay, this show, the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast, as well as the Get On With It Sports Podcast, are both on the Logger Room Network, podcast network. Okay. And starting in the next week or so, there will be another audio podcast on the Logger Room Podcast Network. And that will be the Beer Whisperer and the Whiskey Whisperer, Tom Mulvihill. His audio podcast will be on that as well. So
from the what's the Beer Whisperer from the pub, or what's he called it?
The pub. Yeah, it's the pub. It's the pub. And he's either the Beer Whisperer or Whiskey Whisperer. It's usually both. Usually drinks beer and whiskey at the same time. He pairs them. So yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yes.
Might not remember much of it, but it might be fun.
He remembers the beginning, and then later on, a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
But it's all good regardless. And the port show that Dave's referring to was fantastic. That was a good night. That was a good show.
And he's down by Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri. He's in Springfield, Missouri. So he's close. You're closer to him than we are.
That's very true. I still think you guys need to fly to Indiana, and we'll do a beer tour. You know, we could go live and just do little segments at each.
We could do that. We could do that.
Yeah.
And actually, knowing Johnny and I, we wouldn't fly. We would turn it into a road trip.
Oh no, we would drive. We would get a few things along the way on the way out and back. So
that'd be a straight up road trip.
I know this isn't the same area, but I know us driving to DC was like 13 hours.
To get out to you, it's about 13 hours to get. Well, maybe a little less. Probably 11 to get out to you. About 11 to get out to you.
We'd stop at Pittsburgh first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd hit Pittsburgh on the way out. Probably hit Columbus.
Yeah. Columbus.
And then get out to you.
So what I should do is fly out to you guys, drive in
back,
or you can meet us in Pittsburgh, and then we'll get you back.
Either well, no, because there's places to stop on the way to Pittsburgh. There is a brewery that I've been meaning to go to that is between here and Pittsburgh. And I'll be damned if I can remember the name of it.
Between here and Pittsburgh, there's a lot of breweries. So I mean,
there is, but there's
Weyerbacher.
Yeah, no, that and we've discussed
between here and Pittsburgh.
We have discussed that. That's very possible.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Dave and I have known each other for many, many, many years. Mm-hmm. I've been to Weyerbacher many, many, many times. Dave's been to Weyerbacher many, many, many times. Neither of us have been there together. We've not been there together.
Nope.
I'm telling you, it's a challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
So I used to work in basketball camp, is 5-star basketball camp at Robert Morris University. And then once or twice we would always drive downtown Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And I always loved driving through the tunnel, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And then we would always go to
you go under that mountain. You go under that mountain, you come out of the tunnel, and boom, there's downtown right in front of you.
Beautiful. Just loved it. And then we'd always go eat, and I can't think of the sandwich, but they would have Primanti
Brothers.
Yeah. Primanti Brothers. Yeah. So we have one of those downtown.
And you got to wash it down with an Iron City.
You got to have Iron City.
For sure. Yes, that is fact.
John, the place I'm talking about is Selland's Grove.
What is it?
Selland's Grove Brewery.
Selland's Grove. I've never been.
It's neither have I. It's north of Harrisburg. I've heard of this place. It's one of those that you don't know what's on tap until you get there.
Fair enough.
And they rarely ever brew the same thing twice.
Is that right?
Yeah. So this is one place I've always wanted to get to. They're supposed to be fantastic. They're really hard to get into, and they're so far out of the way.
There you go, right there. There you go.
There you are.
There's me at PNC Park drinking an Iron City.
With an Iron City. There you go.
Hey, was that a Pirates jacket on?
It was a Pirates jersey. It was that's actually. Hold on.
Mike, he's not called Jersey Johnny because he's from Jersey.
I'm not called Jersey Johnny because I'm from New Jersey. That's actually a Roberto Clemente jersey right there.
Okay.
He owns a couple hundred sports jerseys.
Yeah.
He owns more sports jerseys than I own Hawaiian shirts.
Just a couple more. Just a couple more. Actually, and Dave, just by the way, I just acquired another Mets jersey on Sunday.
Big Sexy?
Nope. It's the first time I've ever had this jersey. Even years ago, it's the first.
Even before all the rest of them burned.
That would be correct.
John's house burned down a few years ago.
7 years ago.
So taking a bottle of Utopias with it.
Yeah. And many others, but that one especially. So.
What jersey would this be, John?
It would be the jersey of a gentleman that was had his number retired last year that you and I were at that game for.
Keith
Hernandez. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it doesn't matter what team you're from. When you talk about Mets players, there's nobody hates Keith.
Nobody hates Keith Hernandez. Yeah. And with you having a soft spot, I'm assuming anyway, spot for the Cardinals, unless you hate the Cardinals as a Reds fan.
The Wizard.
Keith Hernandez is not only in the Mets Hall of Fame, but he's also in the Cardinals Hall of Fame too. So.
But as far as players that nobody hated, the Wizard of Oz was another one of those.
Yeah,
sure, absolutely.
And it's funny because when he retired, when he did his retirement tour, when he went to Shea Stadium, because it was Shea Stadium back then, the company I work for, we make trophies, we make these things.
They make jewelry and they put them in blue boxes and they put the blue boxes in blue bags. But we're
not going to talk about the company. But the Mets had commissioned us to do something to give to Ozzy, and I sat right behind the person who managed those kind of things. So the piece of crystal that they presented Ozzy that day, I was holding earlier that day.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
And then watch the game and watch them hand that to Ozzy. I'm like,
cool.
like my hands were just on that earlier.
There you go. That's cool. There you go. Exactly. But yeah.
I have to tell you guys. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
I have to say, I'm shocked you guys never brought up the Indianapolis 500 in this last 2 hours.
Well, I think it's just a given when you say Mike from
given.
Indy.
It's a
It's
given.
an
It's a
absolute
given.
given. And considering it's when you're talking about a craft beer podcast and knowing that probably the most quaffed beer at the Indy 500 is probably a Budweiser,
Notarized.
or a Coors Light or whatever, it just doesn't really play in. Whereas you look at the ballparks, the football stadiums, you do have craft beer in these places.
Here, how's that? I fixed it for you.
There you go. And here's the funny thing is, I've lived in Indiana my whole entire life. This year was the first time I've ever been to the Indianapolis 500.
Really? Well, what's interesting is I've lived in New Jersey my whole life. Last year was the first time I ever went to the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's a very common thing. When you live there, you take it for granted, and you're like, I can go anytime I want.
Yeah, we go to Governor's Island in New York all the time. Like at least once a year, we go over to Governor's Island.
You see it all the time.
We take the bikes over. We go down the west side of New York. We go over on the ferry, bike around Governor's Island, come back up the east side, and bar hop across the village. Right, but I have a few friends in New York City that have lived in New York City for many, many years that have never been to Governor's Island, and I'm like, go! What are you doing? Take the train down to South Street, get on the ferry, and go over and check it out. It's really cool. I mean, it's So Mike, same concept, right?
Mike, who's your favorite Indy driver?
When I was a kid, it was always like Johnny Rutherford.
I remember Johnny.
I always felt sorry for Mario because he would always lose it at the end or lose it sometime.
Always.
Yeah.
My favorite, and it's funny because nowadays, if he were a driver today and what I look for in a driver and all that, I would probably hate it. But as a kid, I loved Super Tex. AJ Foyt was a driver. My God.
But AJ Foyt, Al Unser Jr., any of those guys. Yeah. I mean, they were
Bobby
just
Ray Hall.
Right. Yeah.
Tom Snead. Yeah.
Steve.
I always laugh thinking of AJ Foyt trying to get in that Indianapolis.
Rick Mears.
Well, Rick Mears is a little after AJ Foyt.
Yeah, but still, he was up there, right, with everybody.
But Sneva, my God, talk about a legend.
Bill Vukovic.
You've got some drivers back in the day.
And those were household names.
Yeah.
Today, like, we went to the race and somebody's like, "Who you cheering for?" And I'm like, "Let me see who's that?" I mean, I grew up like, and you knew, like, you wrote down in the newspaper who's leading in each lap, and Dad was listening to it on the radio, and we were grilling food, and you just knew, and here it comes, got your referee,
Well, it's Formula One drivers and boxers.
For sure.
Both today are the same now. Can you name the heavyweight champ right now? No.
Yeah.
Could you back then? Absolutely.
Every minute of every day back then. Right?
Friday Night Lights or fight.
Hey! I went in Jersey. We went, obviously, everybody had it, right? But in Jersey, they actually televised it at the Meadowlands at the racetrack on the jumbotron in the middle of the racetrack or whatever. Was it 85? I think it was 85. Hagler Hearns fight.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns.
One of the greatest fights ever.
One of the greatest, shortest fights ever.
Yeah. It was amazing. It's things have changed. Formula One.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler. But at the Meadowlands, here's the thing, right? In '84, and I'm pretty sure it only happened once. In '84, they decided to have an Indy, a formula race, right?
Around the track,
around the track and the stadium, and they set up this whole formula course, and
nobody cared.
And nobody cared, right? But we were actually over there at the fire department, right? All the fire departments in the area, they had everybody come in as mutual aid, and they had everybody stationed at different parts of the course, just to, in case there were any, fires or anything like that, to put it out, like, because one department couldn't handle it, or whatever. But at the time, but anyway, so I always remember towards the end of the race, it was Mario Andretti Sr. and Jr. were both in that race, and Jr. crashed his car, and he got out of the car because he knew his father wasn't far behind him, and his father was in the lead. He got out of the car and went like this to make sure his father saw that he was fine, to not worry about him, so he could win. And Mario Andretti Sr. won the race. That was pretty cool. So
now, Mike, also
that was geez, next year shoot me now. It's 40 years ago.
But Mike, also you've got the Brickyard project.
Yes.
Right, where NASCAR runs it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Jeff Gordon all the way.
You're a Jeff Gordon fan.
He's from Indiana, and yeah.
I thought he was from New England.
No, Pittsburgh.
Really, he's from Indiana.
Yeah.
He was in a movie.
Jeff Gordon.
Mm-hmm. He was in a movie.
Which movie?
It was like it wasn't a B movie. I mean, Jimmy Fallon and Queen Latifah were in it. Was it Taxi? Was it Taxi Cab? Or was it Taxi? Whatever it was. It was Taxi. It was just Taxi. Taxi Driver was Robert De Niro, but it was Taxi. Jimmy Fallon was a cop, and Tom Brady's ex-wife was in it too. Giselle Bundchen was in it, and with Queen Latifah was a taxi driver. Anyway, the whole thing happened, and at the end, she became Queen. At the very end of the movie, Queen Latifah became a race car driver, and Jeff Gordon was at the end, like a cameo at the end. And he goes, whatever Queen Latifah's name was in the movie. Jeff Gordon gets out of his car. You ready for this? Whatever her name was. Yeah, let's go, Jeff. Blah blah blah. And they went. So he made a cameo in the movie. So.
Now my driver back in the day was Darrell Waltrip.
Okay.
I like Waltrip. He one of the best nicknames in NASCAR because he drove the Tide. What do they call them? They call that car the washing machine or something like that.
He drove the Tide.
The Tide car.
Okay.
So that was one of my favorites. So
the Freising Tide car?
No, not the Freising Tide. So the Freising Tide is a Coastal Brewers beer. It is a wheat beer.
Mm-hmm. It's a German, Bavarian style Hefeweizen.
Because Weihenstephaner is in Freising, Germany.
And we pay homage to Weihenstephaner, who, by the way, is in the next 17 years. In another 17 years,
Be
they
1,000?
will be 1,000 years old. The brewery will be 1,000 years old. Yeah, the 1140. Oh no, 1040. They'll be 1,000 years old. Yeah, I think they've got the recipe dialed in by now. So
Maybe a few tweaks.
a couple tweaks here and there.
So, Mike, so Labor Day, you'll be down in Florida. I don't know if I can make it down on Labor Day.
I can't.
I might be going back in October too for Fall Break.
That might be more of a deal. You text me when you're going.
Okay, well then.
Might have to coordinate there. It's been a while since I've been down there and see my brother. My kids come up here. I bring them up here, every now and then, and we have a lot of fun. But to get down there, drink with my brother, as annoying as he can be sometimes, he's
your brother. Enjoy it. Brian's a good guy.
He once, it was funny because one time I was at his place and he brings a beer out, hands it to me. He goes, "Okay, beer, Samurai. Tell me what this beer is." And I looked at him and went, "You're seriously going to hand me my favorite Florida beer that's been barrel aged and ask me what it is?"
Yeah.
It was Buffalo in the Snow, which is really just maple bacon coffee porter aged in bourbon barrels.
Ooh. That's a funky beer.
Damn good beer. And he looked at me and went, "All right, never mind."
See what I did there, by the way?
Funky
Buddha.
Funky Buddha. Mike, great seeing you again.
Absolutely.
And so to tell people real quickly how this happened is I went into my Facebook messages and Mike had messaged me about a year ago.
Yeah.
And the thing about Facebook messaging is they don't always give you your messages if it's a first time message.
Yeah.
You've got to go in and clear.
If you're not, it's not a first time message. If you're not friends, if you're not friends on Facebook, it goes into some other field or whatever, some other file, right? And you have to click on it, like you have to, intentionally
you gotta go and look deep.
You gotta look, yeah.
To find these things. And I looked at it like, I vaguely remember who this is. And I looked out to him and said, "Is this the guy I met? No." He's like, yeah. And we're like, "You still want to be it? We talked about you being on the show. You still want to be on the show?" I'm like, yeah. So this is how this all happened. I managed to start clearing out some of the crap that was sitting deep in my Facebook. So I still don't think we friended each other on Facebook. We got to take care of that.
We got to do that for sure.
I'll take care of that right now. While we're actually on, and I think you can do it. You have the technology, so
we have the money. We have the technology. We can rebuild him. We can make him faster. We can make him stronger. Oh, wait a second.
I just did. So, now it's up to Mike to accept my friend request.
I wouldn't do it, Mike. Mike, don't do it. It's a scam.
By the way, I will preface it by saying you are going to see a lot of these during the fall.
And if you
got the audio podcast, if you don't know already, it's a poop emoji.
And if you want to be, and Mike, if you want to be part of the John Flade on over under for Giants sports rants, let me know. I can put you in it.
All right.
But that was great having you on the show. Great seeing you again. And seriously, I think the one thing I really took away from this podcast is really the work that you and your kids do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's
more so than beer or anything else. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Beer's beer. Love beer. Beer's king, but
it's why we do the show. However,
but being human beings, that's something special. And being good human beings, that's really thank you to you and your family as to what you all do.
Appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
You got it. All right. Thank you for coming on the show. On that note,
here we go. This is the outro. Now this is changed.
Changed a little bit.
Wait a second. You said we had 8 new platforms.
But I haven't said them all. But they're on the website.
Oh, so it hasn't drastically changed.
It hasn't drastically changed.
Oh, okay. So
all right. So
this is still this, and the thing is, he will be looking off a little to stage left here, which is his right. He doesn't need that. He's done this remotely without having the cheat. So this is actually impressive.
It's good. It's fine
because he can do it without breathing.
Right. Well, it's like circulation, right? It's in the nose, out the mouth while I talk, right? Okay. Anyway, on that note, we will wrap the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.logroom.com. I know. www.logroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Locker Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our brand new host, Spreaker, as well as all the other podcast hosts, and pretty much everywhere you can get it. You can find it. Spreaker is speaker with an R. So SPREAKER. All of this is on the website, so you can check this out as well. So, but of course, all of the other podcast hosts, pretty much, they're pretty much isn't a podcast host you can't find our podcast on, right? Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, only for a little while longer on Stitcher, but Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts.
Well, yeah, Stitcher's got like 1 week left.
Yeah, another week left. But Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, iHeartRadio, and some brand new platforms, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. There's a bunch more. Check out our website.
Deezer, I like that name.
Deezer, yeah. Check out, look, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, audio podcasts.
We're there.
We're there. We're there. So
we're like a virus.
Yeah, we're there. We're there. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was an awesome show. We really appreciate you taking out the time and chatting with us for a little bit. This was a cool show. I like doing these. We'll do a few more of these, on a regular basis. And at some point we'll have you back too. But
Mike,
we'll definitely.
Mike, you're first. You know that.
You're first. You're first for this one. But yeah, we'll put something together. We'll put something either Dave and I will come out to Indy, or we'll meet in Pittsburgh and work our way back. We'll do something. We'll do it.
Sounds awesome.
Absolutely. But again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we'll talk to you next week, folks. Good show next week. Don't forget to watch. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.